Today, the largest water square in Rotterdam. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ideanthro. On today's episode, I'm going to show you the largest water square in Rotterdam, and in particular, we are going to talk about the one little challenge I see with it, and a missed opportunity, which by coincidence come together, and the opportunity can potentially solve the challenge. So a little bit of context. As we saw in the last episode, the term water square is the term used in the Netherlands to refer to a combination of like an area that's providing open space, but is also providing like a flood and stormwater storage space. So it's essentially like a detention area combined with open space that can definitely be used by the public in the dry. And even, like if the design's done well, a lot of it can even still be used when it's raining and in the wet. So, what was this water square? Let's first up just show a picture, give you some context. This is quite a big water square. It's much bigger than the one in the previous episode. It's in much more, like it's closer to the city centre. There's no grassy park surrounding this one. It's, real urban centre, civic space, much higher densities, much bigger volumes of water being captured and stored and detained in this system. And, it looks pretty good. I was there in the wet. But what you might pick up here is first up the challenge. The challenge, and I was told about this by some people a couple of days before I got to go there, and then I immediately saw it again myself. The challenge is that, cool, when these systems are new, if you Google this site and find pictures of it new, it's all shiny and it's amazing, and the reality is stormwater's got dirt in it. In a rainfall event, this system is currently collecting a surprisingly large amount of dirt, and suddenly it's not the most attractive space. It's not maybe the space that you're going to want to spend a lot of time in. When this water drains back down that's in it today, it's going to leave a lot of dirt there. Is it really quite the attractive civic space? So the problem is, how do we deal with the dirt that's getting into this system? First up, to understand that, we need to understand how it's getting in. The reality is, this has got a really nicely aesthetically designed collection system to get the stormwater into the system. There's these beautiful, what appear to be stainless steel channels. It's really aesthetically nice, but it's also really efficient at transferring everything, including all the dirt, straight into the system. So the reality is, there's just no sediment capture upstream of this system. So the solution is going to be something to do with that, I would assume. I mean, one solution is you just clean it after every rainfall event, but I'd prefer a more passive solution to that. But here's where the opportunity comes in. Because the other thing you might notice while looking around this is there's a lot of planting and a lot of garden beds around this system, and none of the stormwater's going into any of them. And it could. There's actually, there's no technical reason why you could not be filtering the stormwater through the garden beds on this particular water square. So if we have a look perhaps at these garden beds here, you can see that there's a surface flow channel of these little paved stones right through the middle of the trees, just there, right through the middle of the garden bed, and straight into the stainless steel collection channel. And then if we look over at this other end, we've got the stainless steel connection channel, which it puts water into the system in one spot, but if you reconfigured it, just rerouted it, regraded it slightly, you could get all that water first into the garden bed in the center of the water square, and then discharge it into the water square with high flows then overtopping. The reality is this: you could solve both the challenge of the dirt and the missed opportunity of, wait, hang on, why aren't we watering the garden beds anyway? Because here's the thing, in a dry spell, maybe those garden beds need to be irrigated. I'm not sure about that, but we could definitely be using the stormwater to offset that. So, look, here's the thing. I like this concept of water squares. I really do. I could see this having application in many cities that have a combination of high urban density and flooding problems. Could definitely see that being the case because it's a good multiple use of open space. But there is a couple of things that need to be overcome here. This water square could be that little bit better if the water was first directed into the garden beds as essentially a bioretention system or a rain garden. It could be directed into those beds, filtered down through them. There's enough grade because the water square itself to capture the water is set down lower than the surrounding area. So we've got grade. There's no problem with grade here. So the water could filter through these garden beds, down, pipe out the bottom, straight into the water square itself. High flows, some kind of high flow bypass, of such nature. The rainfall events aren't super intense here, so that probably wouldn't need to be a massive structure. And you solve two birds with one stone. You're passively irrigating the garden beds, and the dirt's going to be captured in the bioretention component and not get into the lovely water square. So after a rainfall event, when it drains down, sweet, it's a lot cleaner than it currently is. It won't be perfect because the trees and the vegetation surrounding this place are dropping leaves in there, and that's part of the dirtiness, although it's organic matter, but part of the dirtiness that's getting in there. But a bunch of it is silts and stuff washing off the roads, and that could be solved with the bioretention system. And if that was solved, then really what you've got are just a bunch of leaves left in there, which are much easier to clean out, for example with a leaf blower or something of that nature, rather than at the moment when you've got all the dirt there, like it needs to be, like, maybe it's got to be pressure cleaned or swept, or, you know, it's a lot harder to clean up the dirt than the organic matter. And that's it. That is the water square in Rotterdam. I was really excited to go there. I think it's a great concept. I'd love to go there in the dry and see how people are using it. Like, there's a basketball court in the middle of this thing, right? That's awesome. And that's it. Water square in Rotterdam. Generally good. Small challenge. Other opportunity. Stick it all together. This stuff's got promise. Sweet. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.